Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting Vobie, One-Eyed Kenobi Showbie with me, Richard Vobes. Yes, the chances of anything coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, he said. I've been listening to Jeff Wayne's Prelude to The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells that Jeff Wayne wrote in 1978 whilst I've been waiting for the show to get going. And slight different lighting arrangement in here. I had a little fiddle with the lights earlier this morning whilst I was setting up for The English Journey by J.B. Priestley. We don't half get about, don't we? Indeed we do. Anyway, we are live here yet again every day so far since the lockdown, which has been great fun. And of course, people have been building up and waiting, and tickets have been passing, money has exchanged hands, all sorts of things. People have got popcorn and fizzy drinks. They're sitting down in their perfect social isolated situations, and they've tuned in to see the Vobie, One-Eyed Kenobi here once again with another hour or so of absolute complete codswallop, plus a few marvellous videos from the lovely viewers, which makes it all worthwhile. So sit back and enjoy yourselves. We also have the phone line so that you can give us a tinkle and tell us what you've been up to today. I have been actually in the graveyard, but more about that perhaps later on. Andrew Murphy is out there. Audrey Forbes Hamilton too. Barry Stevens, hello to you. Carl Osborne, nice to see you. Days of Yore, and Ed Lord, Englishman abroad, Fiona Hammond, Jeff Kellison driving across the Americas, Judith down there in Deal, the lovely Julia, I nearly cocked it then, the lovely Julia out there, Fiona Hammond also just joined in, which is fantastic to see, Lara over there, Kevin's Rambles, Leslie Couch, Linda Kane. I hope everyone's standing up as I read their names out, just so we can put a face to the name, which is good. Mandy of Merrimack, Michael Angel, hello to you, Michael, Mike Dixon, Mr. Connell, Peter May, Philip Hammond, Ron Langley, Stephen G, Stephen Gully, The Vobe Show, apparently I'm there too, of course, Tracy Murphy, Trevor Ham, Turbo Stream, and Wendy Lowry, and I've noticed Floating Our Boat. Oh, so lovely to see Richard and Fran. Great to see Richard walking about down the shops looking for baked beans, but not getting any baked beans, but loads of other stuff. Hope the chili was nice, looked very nice with the wild garlic. It looked absolutely fantastic. I was watching your video earlier today as I was cooking my dinner, funnily enough. I had it on my little thing, screen. That's the word, screen. And it was most enjoyable, and loved the drone shots. Nice to be out there watching people on a canal boat that, of course, I'm desperate to do with the lovely Julia. And hopefully we will later on in the year. So welcome aboard, as it were, the old Vobie, One-Eyed Kenobi Showbie. It's very nice to see you. And everyone's saying hello and all that kind of nonsense, so that's great. We've got videos all lined up, some very good ones tonight. Not saying that the other nights weren't good, but we've got some great ones. Linda Kane says, do you realise I sacrifice watching Repair Shop for this? Best programme on TV. Well, listen, if you've got anything that needs repairing, I have this still. That needs repairing. If anyone's got a sledgehammer, then I will smash it up live on the show. If you think that is going anywhere near my chin to shave myself, you've got another thing coming. I think that is more of a tooth extractor. That is supposed to be a quiet filler shave. Phillips, simply years behind. Yes, simply leaves your ears behind, hopefully. Anyway, welcome aboard. It's another show, 8 o'clock. How have you been coping this week? Apparently, none of us are allowed to go out on Easter. I don't know whether that's news to you, but apparently Easter is coming, yes. Not only are you not allowed to go to the supermarkets and buy Easter eggs, because, of course, they've been banned. The police will be peering into your plastic bags to see what you've been buying. I also gather you're not supposed to buy clothes, because that's not essential. You're supposed to go shopping in the nude. And also, you can't go out on Easter Sunday, especially can't go to church on Easter Sunday. What will the Lord think? He'll think everybody's abandoned him. It's going to be a grim old Easter this year. Poor old Jesus, nailed up on his cross, coming back for the resurrection, nobody there to greet him. Not even the Easter bunny. So the Easter Bunny will be bouncing around. The Easter Bunny this year will be absolutely enormous because he'll be eating all the chocolate themselves, having hid the chocolate all round. Perhaps, though, you will be having a Easter hunt in your house, in your flat, in your broom cupboard, where in your whatever space that you actually have now forced to live in to get away from your best of friends that you, before all of this, you were great bosom pals with, that now you hate and loathe after 3 weeks in close proximity with them. It's going to be fascinating to see what happens. Linda Kane says, remember, folks, we mustn't go and gaze at any heavenly objects tonight. No, everybody disappeared last night to have a look at this pink moon that wasn't pink, but it was the moon. And even Fran and Richard went and had a look at the pink moon on their canal boat. Richard, says Philip Scarborough. Lovely to see you all the way there from Jackson in Mississippi. Jackson, Mississippi. My mate, Philip Scarborough. Bless you. Lovely to see you. Fantastic. Good to see you. What do you think of the lighting arrangement? I fiddled about with it. We've got neons over here for the Bald Explorer. If I duck my head, which is a bit painful because I've got a bad back, but they've got the Vobes show blasting out there, which actually isn't terribly good. But it's all looking all right, isn't it? It's all quite fun. Julia says, yes, please. I, for one, would like that, she says, sending a kiss. I'm not quite sure what for one that she wants. Chris Venables, I'm pleased to see you're here. Will you call in and give us an update? That would be great, says the lovely Julia. Linda Kane is saying, I've got a very large Easter egg through the post from my nephews. Oh, and you don't like chocolate, do you? And you don't know what to do with it. So you thought you'd send it over to the Vobes. Isn't that right? Listen to me. You thought you would send it to the Vobes. You thought you would send the big Easter egg to the Vobes, Linda. Linda, are you paying attention? Go now to the post office and post the chocolate Easter egg to the Vobes. And relax. Yes, so I'm expecting somebody, I don't know who it could possibly be, to send me a lovely Easter egg tonight or tomorrow or in the next few days. It's going to be very exciting. I wonder if it'll come from the Angmering part of the world. She's saying, not bloody likely, mate. Get your greedy mitts off of that. Yes, I know. One can always hope, though. The lovely Jeff is out there. Where are you, Jeff? We would love Jeff Kellison to ring the studio if you don't mind spending your hard-earned money on the phone. 0793 4746 790. Tell us where you are, where you've been driving today. As you know, Jeff drives this 70... Oh, I still haven't got the bloody picture. Sorry about that. I must go and find your photograph. We've got this wonderful photograph of Jeff with his ponytail, shaved head, ponytail, dark shades against this wall in his prison suit. And ever since he's escaped, he's pretending to be a lorry driver, or a truck driver, beg your pardon, got to get the lingo correct, going across America on the run in his 75-ton truck. Although we do now know that he's swapped the trailer for another trailer, which I think is twice as long, isn't it? He's actually one of those, what are the Amstrad, not Amstrad, that's a computer, is it? What's the Amex trains? Is it Amex? I can't remember. There's those great big trains which go on for about 25 miles that if you get stuck at the crossing, you may as well go home for lunch and take a sleeping bag because the train just trundles through at 72. Here we go. We get a phone call coming in. Let's find out who that is. It looks from overseas. Who could possibly be calling the Vobe at this time? Hello to you.
Why are you telling these poor people that I'm a prisoner?
I never said that. There must be some confusion on the line. I don't know where you got that from. These rumours, you know. Transatlantic telephones.
I just left Memphis. I'm headed north to Waverly, Iowa, and then I'm sure they'll bounce me back over to Story City.
Wow. Iowa, and where was that other place? Waverly?
Yeah, it's a little town in the middle of nowhere. Hey, a friend of mine called me a little while ago. I had your RAF cups copied.
Really?
Yeah, you'll get them in a couple days. I changed a couple things. I know you like red, so the handles are red.
The handles are red. Oh, well, that sounds all right. That sounds lovely. Fantastic, even. So what have you got in the back curious to know what's in the back of your truck today. Not more chemicals, is it?
Cake boxes.
What?
Cake boxes.
Kick boxes?
No. Cake. Cake boxes.
What, boxes of cakes or just empty boxes that cakes go in?
Just the empty boxes.
Oh, what a shame. God, because, you've been eating Burger King for so long, you could have nipped in the back.
I had a good dinner last night. I stopped at that double nickel truck stop in Hayti, Missouri, and had barbecue chicken.
Oh.
Yeah, my spirits are raised.
Oh, that's so good. We were all so worried. Do you know, the lovely Julia said to me after the show where you said, I'm struggling to get some decent food. She said, is there any way we can arrange a food parcel for Jeff? And I said, I don't know how we would do that. And then I thought, well, there's Ramy Boo in Oregon. If we were to club together, she could nip out to somewhere and rustle up a lovely dinner, bung it in a box, and then you could scoot past and she could just throw it in the cab. I don't know how plausible any of that is, but that was the ruse that we came up with. But clearly we didn't do anything about it because we thought he's a grown man. I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll be fine. It probably won't hurt me a bit. Later on, when all this is over, I would really like, when I go through Eugene, to get together with them and have dinner. When all this is over.
Well, I am absolutely certain that Ramy Boo would be so delighted to welcome you. And we'd have to. I tell you what, we'll have to do. The lovely Julia and I will have to send some British stuff over to America so that when you have your meal with Lisa, Ramy Boo, that we can be represent. We'll bring, like a little British flag you can have stick in a cake or something. Something like that. And then you can take a picture and send it in, or make a little video, send it into the Vobes show, and we can play it live on the show, which would be great.
I was looking for my gold pan this morning in case they send me west. It's under my bunk somewhere. I haven't located it yet, but when I find it, I'll have it ready. When I go, if they send me through Baker City, or if they send me over there, I will pan some gold and make a video.
We want to see you panning gold, most definitely. Especially if you get a great big nugget and you no longer have to drive the truck because you've suddenly come up with enough gold to sink the Bank of Monte Carlo.
No, in the summertime when the water goes down, I can usually get about a gram every 5 hours.
Blimey! And what does that come out like? The very fine powder.
Yeah, it's like $55, between $55 and $60 with.
So what do you do with that? You're out there panning away, sieving out the water. Eventually, you come up with this strange powder, which is gold. What do you do with that to turn that into cash?
Well, I haven't really turned much into cash. Most of it, me myself, as a non-smoker, it usually ends up in a Ziploc bag that had watch parts in it before. It usually ends up in my ashtray.
Oh, right. So all that effort to pan your 1 gram of gold just goes up and disappears, basically.
Panning gold is an extremely fun and relaxing thing to do. It's quite enjoyable.
Well, I can imagine there you are by a stream somewhere in the middle of nowhere with the coyotes slowly creeping up on you. Yeah, it must be great fun.
Usually I take my fly rod and I at least get dinner out of it.
Well, there you are. Can't be bad, can it? What fish will you get from your fly rod?
Oh, here in the west, it's trout. Usually brown trout or golden trout.
Well,
or rainbow trout.
It's got to be golden trout, hasn't it? If you're panning for gold.
I think actually golden trout, don't you guys call them grayling over there?
No idea. I know them. Don't ask me about fishing. All I know is you see these sad, lonely people sitting with their rods, peering into the water, and you just think, gosh, this is an excuse to get away from the missus. But of course, That's not really what's going on, but that's how I see it. But I'm sure that they've got all the gear, every last bit of exciting, flexible carbon rod with special nylon which is and these fantastic automated floats, and goodness knows what kind of jiggling, reeling, wiggling bait that they have in their boxes. I mean, it's a science. I went fishing when I was a kid with a friend of mine. We dug up some worms, we stuck them on what looked like a hook you'd hang your coat on, and chucked it in the river. But now you look at these guys and it's just, there's a marketing man who's sold a whole load of stuff for fishermen.
It averages $1,000 a pound here in the States. The average fisherman spends $1,000 on food, camping gear, and fuel, and all that for every pound of trout yielded.
Yeah, there you go. It's the most expensive way to get fish.
Yeah.
But the most pleasurable.
Well, yeah, I love to fish. I won a fly rod. I went to a game show at a convention center a number of years ago, and I won a handmade fly reel. So I have that. That's primarily what I use. They measured my hands and asked me what weight line I used and all that. It's made for me. I very much enjoy it.
A handmade flywheel. Must get one.
Fly rod, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, fly rod. Beg your pardon. I was thinking. Yeah. The one thing I haven't got in life is a homemade flywheel. I must get one of those and stick it where the sun doesn't shine. So which way? Where are you headed first of all? You off to Waverley first, are you? Waverley.
Yep, going to Waverley. Then they'll send me to Story City. We got at least another month of farm chemicals. Everybody's talking about not working during all this. They're killing me. They're running me ragged.
Are they? So you're working ever so hard, but nobody else is.
There's not many cars on the road, but there's lots of trucks. I just went through Haiti, Missouri, and on this Interstate 55,
it's all what? Sorry, you broke up then. I think we've lost him. I think he's disappeared into the great US of A. A typhoon has come along, or a twister. Have we lost you, Jeff? This is the Vobes calling the Jeff. Well, I would hate to think that the 75-ton truck has veered across the highway and smashed into another truck and is now lying in bits with his handmade flywheel rolling across the dual carriageway there. But I do think that we have accidentally lost poor old Jeff. So I'm going to end it there. I don't want to leave him hanging on. Whilst the police go and drag his poor bedraggled figure off the tarmac there, oh, hello, we've got something coming back. This is a private number. Let's see what happens when we get a private number. Hello, caller.
Hello, my uncle Nigel Sadler said that you wear women's underwear.
Yeah, your Uncle Nigel Sadler, he's a very nice bloke. Thanks very much for giving us the call. It's very nice. So now, if you're ringing on a private number, you won't get through again. So I beg your pardon. But nice try, lads. Nice try. I think it's time for a video now, ladies and gentlemen. I think we'll do that. We've got lots of chatter going on in there. I'll come back to the chat very shortly. But let's have a look in the video box and see what we've got coming up in tonight's show. We have videos from good old Mike Dixon. We have a couple from Kevin. We also have Robert Croser Without the Wind, which is very nice. And Barry Stevens is out with Faden at a mill that I've had a meal at. So let's go over to see what Mike Dixon is up to first of all. Mike, where are you and what are you doing?
Hello from Southwick Marina. It's Mike Dixon, and I've just taken our dog Bella for a short walk from our home down to Southwick, what they call the Lady B Marina, which is near the canal locks and the power station. And behind me you can see that they've got another swan's nest, and I've just been told by one of the locals that the swan is sitting on 4 eggs this year, so hopefully they will hatch. And I think they did all right last year. I remember seeing at least 3 or 4 of them out on the water. Parents seem very good, caring parents. Predators around here, the worst are humans, and then I believe foxes and people's pet dogs. But Bella's on the lead. Just to show you the marina behind me. We've just been looking at some of the large fish that's in the water. A bit like a kind of grey catfish. I'm sure others will know what they are. They're about 18 inches long. Look like a kind of small shark. But usually around about 6 of them swimming together. Anyway, I thought I'd just share it with you. We're down here for our morning exercise. Keeping distance from other people, but saying good morning and trying to keep it friendly. And we'll see how the swans are getting on. Well, they seem to be doing very well, and the locals are happy with them. And they've got a lovely nest that they've built, and the local work units have built a shelter around it with some canvas and made out of crates to kind of help protect the swans and, God willing, their babies. Anyway, thought I'd just share it with you today. Anyway, I'll pass you back to Richard in the studio. Take care, keep safe, bye.
Well, there we are. That's lovely, Mike Dixon. Thank you, Mike, for that report. Now, tomorrow, if it's okay with you, I'll lend you my kayak, which I have here. You can come over and pick it up, put it on the top of your car. And then if you could just kayak out and get a bit closer to the swan. We'd love to see the swan sitting on the eggs there. That would be fantastic. And also, if you can keep filming so we can get the swan's reaction as you get closer. Just to be nice, but, you know, to protect yourself, make sure you've got little Bella there on the front of the kayak. Strap her down so she doesn't fall in, and make sure there's a kayak cam, which would be great. We've had a private number trying to call in. If you're on a private number, I cannot take the call, I'm afraid. So all prank calls, I'm afraid, will now no longer disappear. And we had a prank call the other day. They didn't ring on a private number, and I gave the number out to the public so that they could get blasted by the audience, which is all good fun. We have another call, however, coming in. Let's find out who this one is. Hello to you.
Hello, Richard. It's Chris Venables from sunny Nottingham. How are you?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you very much. My back is slowly getting better. It comes in fits and starts. I've bunged some deep thrombosis on it. Oh, no, deep heat. That's what it is. So I seem to be all right. But more to
How did you manage to get it, though?
How did what? The deep heat?
No, the bad back.
The bad back. I made this video on my bicycle where I was filming myself, and of course everyone said, oh, you should have a helmet, you should have a camera fixed to the thing, and I thought, sod all of that, you know, all these do-gooders. So I went out, I said, do you know what, I want to go out and hold the camera out like this and get a twisted back and have a nice pulled muscle in the spine, and do you know, I got it.
Marvellous.
It is. So that's me. How about the Chris Venables update?
Right, the update. Things are getting better. I'm getting more to normal now.
Oh, superb.
I've still got the coffin, of course. I can't get rid of that.
Got the coffin in the corner.
Coffin in the corner. But apart from that, in terms of my wellness, I've certainly burst through the custard.
You burst through the custard?
Correct, yes.
That's a nice expression. Is that a northern expression?
I don't know. It's a general expression, I think.
Oh, I've not heard that before. I must remember that one. Julia, make a note of that. Burst through the custard. Love it.
Yeah, it's interesting that you've got floating our boat on.
Yes.
Because Richard, I've sort of mirrored Richard in a lot of respects.
Oh, have you?
Yes, even down to the sleeping upright on the settee business watching films
Yes.
for 3 nights.
Because lying down just makes you cough more.
Oh, yeah, lying down is out of the question, really.
Right,
out of the question.
yeah.
But last night, I actually went to bed for the first time in ages and had a marvellous 6 hours sleep. Absolutely marvellous.
Oh, my goodness. How rewarding is that?
Oh, yeah, I can't tell you.
Well, I'll tell you. Very.
Excuse me.
Oh, don't start him off. Don't start him off. He's coughing again.
And I think we're going to be coughing for a while. I mean, Richard, I don't know if Richard would phone in or whatever and let you know, but I'm sure he'll be the same. I'm sure he's still coughing a little bit. But apart from that, in terms of actually how you feel in yourself,
yes,
apart from being a little bit tired, I feel a lot better.
Well, I was watching the floating boats video earlier today, as I said at the beginning, and it was, it's just they make this. By the way, if anybody hasn't been following Fran and Richard, anyway, the brilliant couple on a canal boat going around, just exploring stuff, going for walks, and having a right hoot doing it, and it's wonderful stuff. And Richard's a great editor as well, so he puts the videos together, and Fran is just lovely, especially she was planting all these salad leaves, which was superb. But it's been interesting watching Richard because, of course, he's got the lurgy and you've got the lurgy, and I think this the YouTube stuff where real people, where real people are doing stuff and suffering stuff, and we get the true message, rather than the slightly biased, slightly skewed, slightly whatever over the top nonsense from the mainstream media. So that's why I think Richard was doing everybody a service. May have been saying, "Oh, look, I've got this, and I'm not going to be making videos." But actually, and like with you, we're all interested because we don't hear the stories of people who actually get it and get better.
Correct. Yeah, that's why I phoned in. I was quite happy to do that. And the thing that's worrying me now, as much, is whether my wife's going to get it or not. At the moment, she's showing no signs, and I don't think Fran is either, is she?
No, she was on 14 days when the video came out. And so she said, that's the period that then she's self-isolated. And with Richard, and they've done 14 days straight. She can go shopping now and buy her own sweets and her own stuff that she said, which was great. And I guess that will be the same. What's your dear lady called?
Christine.
Christine. You probably said that, but I didn't pick it up on it. Christine. So I guess you've got the same situation, and fingers crossed that it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely. Well, that's what we're definitely hoping.
They do say that men are more susceptible, though, don't they? They say men are more susceptible to this.
Yeah, they reckon about something like 75-25, something like that. Isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah. So we're pretty much really in danger compared to women. Well, that's normally the case, I think.
Well, men die early, don't they? Supposedly.
They do, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. So apart from that, everything's marvellous. Hope Julia's all right, and the other night, was a bit sad. I felt pretty bad about it, to be honest.
Yes, no, of course, yes, and I mean it's a difficult thing when you become even on YouTube a little bit of a public figure. It's very difficult to hold your personal life separate from your performance life, and to a certain degree, we all as YouTube people, we put out certain parts of us, and then there can be that invasive bit which sometimes you don't really want to share, but you can't help it when you're going through emotional crisis. I don't know if I put that well or not, actually.
Yeah, I think you have.
Oh, good.
I understand where you're coming from.
Good, because that just blurted out of my gob, as things do. Floating boat says, "Don't make me laugh." So Richard, are you still? I'm just talking to Richard there. I've just seen him say that. So still laughing sets off the coughing, does it? I guess
he's laughing and coughing, same as me. Then we're doing the same.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, I think that's going to go on for a few days. We've still got the gunk on our chest, as what I call it.
Yes. But you're on the mend.
I mean, the nicest thing. I mean this is the right way. was I got up in the morning, had a lovely big cough, and got rid of a big chunk, and I felt a lot better after that. Because it's so hard to get rid of, in the early stage. Because when they say a dry cough, it's there and you can't move it.
So you're bringing up some gunk, as you say. Close your ears, everybody else. What colour is it?
Well, mine was grey.
Grey? Oh, blimey.
I know.
Yeah, because you get like green and yellowy stuff. But grey.
Wow. Grey, yeah.
You're not a smoker, are you?
No.
Oh.
No. Are you?
No. I steam a lot, but I don't smoke. Steam a lot, yes. Don't make him laugh. It's an outrage.
Don't make him laugh.
Don't make him laugh. I say, old chap. Oh dear. Well, I'm so pleased that you're sounding so much better.
Right, and I'm pleased to be doing a lot better, and I hope everybody else gets through it.
Yes.
Do it safe and well,
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Have a good one, Richard.
I will.
I'll leave it at that.
Yes, absolutely. We'll touch base in a couple of days to see if you're, because they sometimes say that it can get better and then it gets worse. But
no.
I'm not suggesting. I don't think that's going to happen to you by any means, because I think that's when you're on the ventilator. I think that's when you've gone.
Thanks.
No.
I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean. You're misbehaving.
I know exactly what you mean.
You naughty boy. Anyway, lovely to hear from you, Chris, and thank you for bringing us the update.
Okay then, Richard. Catch you later, mate.
Yeah, take care. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, that's so good. That is great news. That is, I think it's true. Richard out there on Floating Your Boat. I think just sharing those stories is what is very heartwarming to other people who may get it, may not get it. But it's just nice to know that some people do actually get it, and it is a bit of a grim thing, but it gets better. So that's really good. Somebody asked me, I'm just looking for, Mr. Connell said, Vobemeister, do you like who do you like watching on YouTube? Oh, well, I do watch a whole range of funny old stuff, actually. I'll go through the stuff that I watch on YouTube on another occasion, I think. Mike Dixon says, Bella and I will give a progress report from Southwick Marina. Oh, good. Unfortunately, 2 of the original eggs were stolen. No! What, by people? By humans? But the swans are still sitting on 4. The locals are keeping an eye on it. Isn't that amazing that people would steal the eggs? Or was it a fox or something? Hello, is that Jeff again?
No. Is this the number to call for comic ranty nonsense?
Yes, that's right. Comic rant. I can't even say it myself. Comic Ramsey. What did you say? Comic
ranty.
Yes, ranty. Yes, that's the word. Ranty nonsense. Only if you're from Missouri. Mississippi.
Nope, not.
Mississippi.
No.
Don't. I know your voice. I know who you are.
This is actually the first time we've ever spoken in real life.
It is. How funny is that? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very, very good friend of mine. Though we've never met. He knows more about me than I know about him, but I do know a lot about him as well. And he comes from, his family originally comes from Scarborough in the UK, from up north. And like God knows when they went over, but they went down to Mississippi. And Philip Scarborough, who I'm talking to, is also a filmmaker. And he's a very nice chap and recently married. Congratulations to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
And we have sent little audio files to and fro over the years, since probably about 2006 or something ridiculous, for a long time. Just, on the odd occasion.
I think the first time I ever heard you, I just randomly found your podcast, I want to say in 2005.
Oh, right.
I remember finding these 2 guys doing a beer show.
Oh, yes, the old beer shows. Yeah, blimey.
And Podcasting was just so new. Most people didn't even know what it was, but I was obsessed and fascinated with it, particularly podcasts from other parts of the world. And so, hearing people from all over the world doing their thing. But anyway, there you go.
So yeah, so just to complete the picture, there is, we have never spoken in real time to each other and had a proper conversation like we are now, and here we are doing it live on a show.
Thanks to the pandemic.
But yes, thanks to the pandemic. So there we are. There's silver linings everywhere, and I'm sure that's happening there are things that are happening that would not have happened if we hadn't got this pandemic.
That's one way of looking at it. Do you think that a lot of people who have switched to working from home, when all this is over with, they're going to want to go back to work?
Well, I think it's interesting that a lot of companies in the past who said, no, you can't possibly work from home because you won't actually do the work, there'd be too many distractions, it would never work, have not got a leg to stand on now. Those arguments clearly, because they've been forced to have to let people work at home, are no longer there. So it will be interesting. But I guess it depends on your home environment. If you've got 3 kids running around and neighbours that have got music blaring out, you may want to get back to the solitude of the office.
Yes. And students as well. There's a lot of students taking online courses now. I could see them asking, well, why should I go back to class?
Yeah.
I can do all this from home. So it's going to be interesting what the new normal becomes.
Yes, the new normal. I think that will be interesting. And there's going to be a lot of questions about how we used to do things and how we've now been forced to do things. What's the situation? How much of a lockdown have you got where you are? You're
supposed to stay at home. Of course, grocery stores are open and some restaurants are still open.
Are they?
You can get drive-through only. Like, so you call in and then you go by and pick up. And a lot of people are outside though, and a lot of people, because the weather here is gorgeous, and if this was the best time for this to happen, but for here anyway, because I think a lot of people are glad to not go to work and be outside.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of people outside with their kids and their animals and their bikes, and they're keeping a distance from each other. But I've never seen so many people outside.
It's interesting. So, it's interesting because it is a good time for, as you say, where you are and where I am, and we've actually had some decent weather, which is peculiar. But I'm guessing in other parts of the world, they're approaching winter time or the autumn, like in Australia. I spoke to a chap yesterday Sean yesterday in Australia. This is such a globalised show now. It's outrageous. And he was saying it's getting into winter, and I guess there'll be places where it is cold and you don't want to go out.
True. And I think people will be more prone to get cabin fever in those places.
Yes. I mean, it's so. I think the notion that you have to stay indoors goes against the very humanity of who we are. That you just need to get out, and I don't think people realised how much they needed to get out until they were actually told they couldn't.
So,
sorry, there was a weird.
We have. In my state where I live, we have about 2,000 cases.
2,000 cases.
Yeah, out of about 3 million people in the state.
Right.
So it's it's not. It's bad. You don't want any cases, but it's certainly not as bad as other places. I mean, that's way less than say New York.
Yes.
Mississippi is mostly rural, besides the capital where I live and some college towns it's mostly small towns and a lot of forest and woods. And our big thing here is hunting and fishing. And so a lot of people here are already used to the outdoor life.
Right, yes. So, I mean, you're in the film business. A lot of business over here has had to stop for reasons that they can't do social distancing, and people are on location. Television programs have had to be shelved and that sort of thing. Are you in an awkward position work-wise?
I'm lucky in that I had a production that just ended. We stopped shooting right before this hit, but now I've got a lot of editing to do. So I'm in the videos I'm working on now, that they still have the same deadline.
So you can
busy,
bunker down.
But we did have a lot of work coming up, and back in February we turned in a lot of bids and estimates and RFPs, and we thought we were about to get really, really busy, and that's all been put on hold.
Right.
But I feel like once everything starts back up again, and I think everything will kind of skyrocket back to where it was. And maybe more so.
Yes. I mean, I totally agree with you. I mean, I think all that work that you may have quoted for, probably nobody else can do it anyway because of the social distancing and isolation and stuff. And everybody's going to be wanting to get the big machine and the big cogs turning as rapidly as possible. So, you may suddenly find you're inundated. And there'll be a lot of communication stuff that needs to be told to customers. So video, of course, is the perfect way for doing that. So there'll be a lot of this. Now we're out of the crisis. This is how our business is running. This is how we're going to deal with you. And this is how you can buy our products. I imagine that the corporate video production world will be one of those which will benefit. Won't benefit me because I'm on YouTube. I've given up the corporate world.
Well, you're too big for all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, too big. I must get some bigger headphones. My head doesn't fit in these anymore. It is mad. Listen, we could gas all night, but I better let other people have a go. And I have actually got some videos that people have made that I must play in. But Philip, it is so lovely to talk to you, actually having a conversation after whatever it is, 15 years. It's a madness.
Yes, fantastic. You used to do these. You used to do these voices of these two robots that used to crack me up. Do you remember that?
Oh yes, that's right. I did, but I had a pitch shifter. I haven't got a pitch shifter on the little desk I'm using today. But yes, I used to do the robots. They were little gay robots, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, the little gay robots, if that's politically correct.
Oh, so political correct, this show. Oh, yes. We upset. If we don't upset somebody in the show, we haven't done our job properly.
Exactly.
Exactly.
All right, well, good talking to you.
Say again.
It was great talking to you.
Great. Yes, sorry. Yes, absolutely. Great talking to you, and hopefully talk to you again. And one day I am coming over to America to shake your hand, because 15 years is a far long time to have a friendship that you've never actually shaken. When we can actually shake hands again. Remember those days?
Put on rubber gloves or something.
We'll put the hazmat suits on. Philip, take care.
Yes.
Thanks so much for calling.
Okay.
All the best.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh, that was so good. So good for me. Hope that wasn't too self-indulgent for you guys over there. As I say, Philip, we've had this conversation ongoing on MP3s over 15 years. It's amazing, the technology, but never actually spoken to each other faced sort of in real time. So there were lots of people chatting away. So good. Linda Kane says, my nephew's working from home now, but when he used to have to be in for a previous job, he found he really missed the camaraderie of the office. Yes, I can well believe that working at home can be quite solitary, and especially if you've got problems, that it's easy to sort of go, hey, John, have a look at this. I'm trying to sort this out. What do you reckon is the best thing? And the office banter and all of that. So it will be interesting to see how people go forward from here. Audrey says, surprising how many people can work from home, though. Wonder if companies will rethink it when it's over. Think how much money they will save on transport and office space and all the IT infrastructure, presume. I mean, then perhaps there'll be a bit of IT infrastructure that everyone will need to have at home. Perhaps they'll all need to upgrade their routers and that sort of thing. Mark Selwood says, all this is working from home. I wish I was still on the dole. Oh, well, you'd get more money, would you, than working at the hospital? Mark Donny McLeod says, sorry to hear that you have lost Julia. Please accept my condolences. Our prayers are with you. And they are, of course, from all of us. I think I better go out and have a look in the Vobes video box and see what we've got to play. We had Mike Dixon earlier. Let's catch up with Kevin Hall and see where he is. He's out walking somewhere, but where is he walking today?
Morning, Richard. Kevin here. I'm on a different walk today. I've decided just there, St Anne's Hill. So I'm doing a walk down past the ruins, which is just over there. Coming into shot past all these, or through these trees. So I'm doing a walk up round the ruins, and then up round the polo fields, and back home. The bridge you see there in front of me, when the floods were a couple of months ago, the storms, those arches in the bridge, water was right to the top of them, and the bank here, the water was flowing right over into this floodplain catchment area.
Well, that came to an end rather abruptly. I was just sorry about that. I was very unprofessional. I was looking at the catching up on all the stuff. Andrew Norris said that at one point we had 114. I must have missed that. We're about 105 at the moment, which is fantastic. We're trying to avoid the CV, relax and enjoy the Vobes show. Says Dean Cooper. Yes, that's what we're doing. People talking about the pros and cons of working at home. What did you just say there, Judith? I think it was Judith that you said your daughter, not good working at home unless you've got a dedicated space. My daughter is having to work in her bedroom. Yeah, that can be quite tricky, can't it? If you've got, I was listening to somebody talking about, what sort of chairs should you sit on if you're working at home, because the office chairs have been designed to protect your posture, of course, whereas your kitchen table chair might not be quite as good. You're welcome to give me a call on 07934746790. The phone line is open, and give us a call and have a chat about bits and pieces, whatever you're up to and wherever you are. If you've never called the show before, don't be shy, but we don't accept prank calls. So if you want to prank the show, go and prank somebody else. Mrs. Sadler says, amazing ruins. Yes, the amazing ruins of Cowdray Castle. I have actually got a podcast somewhere, which I have put out before. It's about 40 minutes long, but in something like 2007, 2008, I had a personal one-to-one with one of the history buffs there who took me round the castle pretty much room by room, telling me what the story was. It was ever so very nice. Love to go back and do an official video of the Cowdray ruins at Midhurst. It's a sad story of the fire, and then I think one of the Lord's sons who drowned in a different country. I forget where it was. Jeff Kellison says that would be cool to go on a short jaunt and just happen to leisurely stroll by, I don't know, a 500-year castle. We do it all the time, just going down to the post office here, Jeff. This is why you want to come over to England. If you want a bit of history and you like that sort of stuff, you can't help it. You knock yourself out passing these old bits of history, which is what makes my job really easy. Hello on the line. Who is that calling?
Hello, Richard. It's Richard from Floating Our Boat.
Hello, Richard. How lovely to speak to you.
And you too.
And you how are you feeling? You look great on the video, by the way.
I'm getting better. It's been a bit of a tough ride. I don't want to bang on and on about the illnesses, etc. But you're on the mend. That's the clear thing. On the mend, yeah. Still coughing and spluttering when I laugh. So I'm going to have to lead a miserable life from now on.
It won't be for too long. So where are you? Where have you? Because the last I saw you were you'd turned the boat round. You'd gone to get some water. And then you went somewhere else. And I can't remember exactly where you went, without sort of pinpointing, so you get all the masses, you know.
Yeah, we're still in Cheshire. We just we turned around and got some water, and then came back to where we were.
Oh right. Oh okay.
The rules and regulations on the canal navigation system, the CRT say you are not allowed to move your boat for recreational leisure reasons.
Oh right.
But you're allowed to move your boat to get food, water, pump outs and fuel, etc. So
yes,
that's what we did.
So
we're now stuck in Cheshire. We've got this gorgeous view of the cloud. I don't know if any of the viewers watching know where the cloud is. It's fantastic, beautiful place. And
you're not allowed to go wandering up there?
No, unfortunately we can't. No, we have to do our hour's walk, don't we? But the towpath has never been so busy.
I bet.
It's unbelievable. It's been a gorgeous sunny day today.
Yes.
And the wilderness wife has been on the towpath. So.
And they're quite narrow towpaths, aren't they? They're quite narrow. So people must be, because I've noticed whenever I've gone walking and there's somebody, even when it's a wide place, people sort of back off into the bushes to get out of the way.
Yeah, you have to, because in places. On any towpath, you can't get 2 meters away from somebody, so you have to turn your back on them and hope that you don't catch any of their.
I was just thinking of people backing the wrong way and falling into the water. Sorry, mustn't make you.
Stop it. Anyway.
How extraordinary!
But I think this idea of the things are going to be different when we come out, I wonder, because when we come out of all this, Richard,
yes,
the world's going to want to get back to normal.
It is.
Airlines are going to want to be flogging tickets off at next to nothing.
Yes.
Holiday people are going to be wanting it. So I just think we're going to slip straight back into it.
I do.
Nothing will change.
I think you're absolutely right. I think there is a lot of good intentions.
Yeah.
That are being said, but actually, once you've sniffed the coffee, you want to taste it again, don't you?
Yeah.
And
it's all very well sitting at home navel gazing.
Yes.
But friends of mine, they're climbing up the wall. One friend's taken to decorating because he doesn't know what to do with himself.
Well, one of the listeners here, Kevin Hall, he's a painter and decorator by trade.
Yeah, I know Kevin.
Yeah, and he's painting and decorating his own house that doesn't need it, just to keep himself busy. I mean, it is ludicrous. But you're right. People are going up the wall. And of course, there's lots of people in little narrow boats go on the water like yourselves. And if you're on your own, part of the pleasure is you're there with nature, and you just want to get out and do your thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And the community spirit that's on the canals, you can't sort of just pop round and have a cup of coffee with somebody anymore.
No, indeed. And in fact, a boat pulled behind us yesterday. He's been to the water point and just moored up as soon after he could. And he's a viewer of our channel. And, we'd love to invite him on board for a cuppa, but you just can't.
Yes.
It's real shame.
I know. I mean, I don't want to... I was going to say, I had somebody... I was sitting outside on my step, and this lovely couple came past, and they said, "Oh, Richard, we watch your show." And I said, "I would love to shake you by the hand, but keep your distance, please. Thank you."
I know.
It is a very odd time. It is a very odd time. But you look great on the video. and everything looks really good. We can't wait to the next one. But I love the going round in the shops shopping with the. Does nobody ask you, say, you can't film in here, mate?
No, I don't care. Anyway.
You don't care.
Film and they come up to me and say you can't film in here. It's fine. But
yes. Otherwise, just get on with it.
I like.
Yeah. No, good for you. I'm very old school in that because I worked in the corporate industry. You're so used to people. Have we got permission? Are we allowed to film in here? I always get a bit nervous when I pull my camera out.
Yeah.
But no, good for you. Well, keep going. And you've just reached over 10,000 subscribers now, haven't you?
We have.
Yes.
We got there before you, I think.
Yeah, no, well, it wasn't a race. But to be honest, I was lagging for ages. This has been a really a boon for me because I think people have got nothing to do and I'm just churning out all sorts of nonsense. And it'll slow down, once all the other YouTubers are back up and running again.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
But no.
Anyway, I don't want to hog your airways.
No. But it's so nice to talk to you again. It's another first. Watch your channel, and it's like, oh look, and then there we are. We're talking. It's amazing. I love it. Thank you so much for calling.
When all this nonsense is over, come on board and we'll have a day out.
Yes, I can't wait. Anyway, take care.
Good to speak to you and good night, everybody.
Yeah, good night.
See you all there.
All the best. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, that is fantastic. That's made my day, that is. When you watch, because I don't know about you, now there's a shift, isn't it? You used to have people on the telly and they were famous and there was a certain something about them. And you don't know what it was, but they were on the telly and they sort of were up there somewhere. And now people, I think, are watching things like YouTube and they think the same weird magic happens that just puts them, they've made the effort. And I think it's more when people are making the videos because it's just them. They haven't got a production crew. There isn't somebody writing the script. There isn't the money of the license fee coming in to pay for it all. It's just them. So, they're even higher up. So when you actually think, golly, another channel watches me and then rings up, it's marvellous. So thank you so much, Richard. That was really, really great. It made my day. So please do watch Float Your Boat, and they've got lots of archives to watch. So it is great. This is a great time to going through people's archives and following their story, which is superb. Time, I think, for another video. How are we doing on the time? 8:56. Barry Stevens says Float Your Boat is a lovely channel. They're a lovely couple. They are indeed. There we go. Your Andy Dalglish says we'll subscribe to Float Your Boat now. Marvellous. That's fantastic. Englishman Abroad says he's talking to Mr. Connell. Kevin says glad to hear from Richard. What a lovely and informative call, says Mrs. Sadler. And Mr. Great Plum, I've stopped a couple of times because I've been in the Vobes video fame, just awaiting the fortune. Yes, it is interesting. People, they do come up to you. And it is a weird thing because you're not on the telly. You're not there with that big film crew and having it promoted down mainstream media. And you're just doing your thing and you've made a video and you've edited and you've slogged over it and you've shoved it up and you've forgotten about it. And then there you are in Morrison's and someone taps you on the shoulder. Not these days because they have to be at social distance. But they say, "Oi, I've seen your videos." And then you think, uh-oh, what's coming next? And generally, they're quite polite. Most people usually are quite polite. Say, "Oh, yeah, no, I enjoyed that one where you did such and such." And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, what else did I do in that? And I'm desperately trying to remember what the hell it was I did. Because that's the trouble when you churn them out. But yeah, that's what it's like. So Mr. Great Plum there, Matthew, and I, who are walking when we can on the Green Sand Way, is being recognised, which is fantastic. I love it. I love the fact that we have this community of people who are all getting something from it, and that's really nice. Ed Loud says, I highly recommend going through the archives of both the Vobes channels, put them in the playlist, sort them by date, worth doing. That's very kind of you, Ed. Thank you very much. Robert Croser says, I got pulled in the Cotswolds last year from someone in Coglin, discussed vampires and gloves, And gloves. Oh yes, because we did a video there, which is absolutely fantastic. Andrew Murphy says Richard's about 30 subscribers short of the 10k mark. If anyone wants to go over to the Bald Explorer, and if you haven't subscribed, wants to subscribe, you're very well. But I don't want to, as I say, it's not a race. To be honest, I never thought I was going to get 10,000, 10,000. That's a colossal number of people. And I'm sure most people who've subscribed don't watch anyway. It is a weird thing, because I thought I subscribe to loads of stuff, but a lot of them I don't. I no longer, when I was into art, I subscribed to loads of people who are very clever and showed you how to draw stuff. And I had a go at drawing, realised actually I was much crappier than I thought I was, and so I gave up drawing altogether. So it did the reverse really for me, but I'm sure that's not true with everybody, of course. But I'm still subscribed to many of those. And occasionally, I do watch it pops up and you go, I'll just put that on, and somebody will draw an amazing face in 20 seconds and you think, wow, what about that? So, yeah. What have we got there? Yeah, so there we go. Right, let's bang on another video. Let's go into the video box. These are the videos that have been made by you to be played to you. So let's toodle off, toddle off to the box. So we saw the first one of Kevin. Let's find out what... now, we couldn't play Mr. Croser, Robert Croser from up in Cumbria yesterday. He sent in a lovely video, but there was so much wind noise I couldn't really show it because I know how sensitive you are if the audio's not great. But he's immediately ran out and made another one to show us actually something even more lovely. So well done, Robert. Let's find out where he is. Robert, where are you?
Good evening, Vobes. Just look at that pastoral splendour. And that is the river Petrel. Not as in petrol that you put in your car. Petril. I'm just going to pan round so you can see it, that murmur in the distance. That's the M6, believe it or not. You'd never guess from here. Just going to pan round to the path. Just look at that. If we get closer... That is the Miller's Way. Now that's a long distance path from Silloth, I'm sure you've heard me mention that, right down to Kendal. And that's George Dodgson Carr walked that way. He of Carr's Biscuits fame. More about that in another video. Now I'm going to go through this lovely kissing gate here. I love that squeak. Across this small beck, and here we go. Just look at it, isn't it beautiful? Isn't it peaceful? Now this is less than 5 minutes, well okay, 15 minutes from where I live. We're still self-isolating, but this is permissible. This is the path going ahead, a long distance path. It's my partner and young son in the distance there. Again, there's the roar of the M6, kind of spoils it somewhat, but not really because it's so beautiful. There's a holly tree there, there's the river meandering, looking back towards the path there. We come back round, we'll go back along the path. Isn't it beautiful? Now this is just a short section. The best section, I think, is towards the village of Rhea and the church designed by Sarah Losh that Richard and TLJ, lovely Julia, fell in love with. Now, they were going to do this walk with me, but we didn't have time, and, well, Julia was heavily pregnant at the time, so we didn't bother. But hopefully, if he ever comes back up this way, I'll take him on this walk, because there's lots to see. There's otter in this river. You come at the right time of day, red squirrel in the woods above me and behind me, and of course the lovely river to watch with kingfishers and the occasional goose that turns up. But to me it's just beautiful as it is, just drinking in the atmosphere and everything. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm not going to film myself because I still can't talk very well, you'd never guess. I am still a bit croaky. I'm going to let you go now because we're over the 3-minute limit. Just pan back round. On the path there, that was just a 1/4 mile walk, isn't it beautiful? Back round again. Balls on the river. You can see how close the M6 is. There's my partner waiting for me. Yes, I'm filming for that bald fella again. Never mind. Anyway, see you all soon and hope you're all staying safe. Bye bye.
How lovely is that? The roar of the M6. I mean, sorry, the green and pleasant land. No, that does look absolutely fantastic. It's interesting because as soon as you said it was on the M6 was that close, I was thinking, well, how come we can hear it? And then when we did see the glimpses, it was pretty much just lorries going. I'm guessing there's not that many cars. And would there be any at that village, which has now gone out of my head? Yes, Julia and I absolutely loved it. And we had planned to do a walk through the woods there, which I think is where you were mentioning. So yeah, when we come back up to jolly old Cumbria, definitely, Robert, you've got to take us up there. Fantastic. Look really nice. Thank you very much for sending that in. Everybody really look that beautiful place. Lovely. It does look very nice. Lock the gate, though, don't you? Ed Loud saying lovely jubbly. Cynthia's camera, beautiful place. Kevin's rambles, well done, Robert. But shame we didn't get to see your lovely face, though, Robert. That's the thing. Has anybody got problems with buffering? Is Kevin's having a buffering issue? Dean Cooper says that everyone who's done a video with the Vobes will have to deal with the fame of being spotted. If only that were true. And somebody said, I'm sure you're what was the, yes, Michael Angel said, I'm sure your subscribers will go above 10,000. But Robert Baxter said, do you think something will happen when you get to 10,000? Will it get more publicity? I think from what I've heard from other YouTubers is that when the first getting to 10,000 is a really tricky job. And you just have to grin and bear it and get there. And it is such a difficult job. But then, weirdly, it gets easier. And I think that the algorithm starts to favour you over people who've got less subscribers. There's so many different things into it. I don't really, ultimately, I don't really care. It's not the numbers, really. It's about having people who appreciate what you do. I think that's the thing. And obviously, I'm trying to make some sort of income from it. So the more subscribers and the more advert money you get in, and obviously that helps. It helps you to pay for everything. But it's having the right audience more than anything else. I think there's nothing worse, as we saw with the prank calls, of having people who don't really care about what you're doing. And so if you're doing something about a fly mow, how to change the blade on a fly mow, you're going to get people who may visit you once, but you may get millions of people who want to change the blade on a fly mow. But I think, for me, and the same with floating our boat with Richard and Fran, you get people who buy into you. They love your story. They find you interesting, and it's having the right kind of audience. And in the end, I don't think the numbers is the big thing. It's nice to have that recognition. And it's also, another thing about having numbers, which is useful if you go somewhere and you say, oh, can we film in here? You sometimes places can open the doors if you've got significant numbers. And so you say, well, I've got 10,000 viewers watching me. If I come here, can I come in? And they're more likely to say, yeah, no, that would be great. Whereas if you come and I've got 25 viewers and they go, no, mate, buy a ticket like everybody else. But I'm not doing it to sort of, what I don't do is go to places to review them and say, this is a National Trust property of such and such, and it's a terrible place. You shouldn't in the park. I don't do that. I don't think that, what's the point? I'm more interested in the heritage, the nature and the landscape. And if the loos are a bit messy that day, well, everybody has a bad day. So what's the worry? It's far better to be able to say, at least this place has been saved from demolition and it hasn't been bulldozed down, and look at the restoration work they are doing. Putting a positive spin as much as one can is the best you can do. And I think mostly people prefer that. Quantity, not Quality, not quantity, says Dean Cooper. I don't know why you watch me then, mate, because I put a video out every day, and some of them are dubious quality because of the necessity. But I am like that. I am an all or nothing man. I just absolutely love what I do. Linda Kane, who is this person who does a thumbs down every time? Bet you're still here. Yeah, it does appear to be one person who just doesn't like the videos, but the thing is, the secret is its engagement. As soon as they press the thumbs down button, it actually works in my favour, although they don't realise that. So because it means somebody is engaged. They've engaged enough to say they didn't like it, which is still engagement, and that's part of it, from what I understand anyway. 109 watching now. Oh, and only 52 likes. Yeah, well, you can't. I mean, you can't force people to put the thumbs up. We do occasionally say, if you're enjoying it, give us a thumbs up. But the Vobes show's only got about 500 people 500 subscribers anyway. And again, imagine if there were 10,000 people trying to type now. It would just be bedlam, wouldn't it? I think on a live stream, you don't want too many people because it becomes very difficult. That's why I like the smallish numbers that we've got. The Salty Train Spotter, hello there. He says, I'm late. Hello to you. How's the old bell ringing going? Not a lot of bell ringing going on at the moment. So you can't practice, can you, with the bell ringing? I suppose bell ringers, you're not going to be 2 meters apart from each other, even if you're in the church. It's a shame you can't have 2 tiers in a church tower, so that 2 or 3 of you could be on one tier at one side of the wall and one on the other side, and then another 2 of you could be lower in there. I mean, you wouldn't be able to see each other to signal when to pull the rope. Just an idea. Maybe they'll bring that in. Ricky Bryan says, ironically, the thumbs down help. Oh yeah, there we go. The joke is on them. We have a private number. If you're ringing on a private number, I can't really take the call. I will risk this and see what happens, because I know not everybody knows, but I'll be ready to cut the call off if it is a duff one. Hello?
Hello.
There we are, you see. It's so easy to tell if it's going to be a prank call. So the joke is on them because it didn't get out. Whatever you said didn't come out. So I'm not going to answer any private numbers. If it has a private number on it, lads, tough titty. Oh, what a pity. Kevin's Ramble says, the odd thing is, as soon as you mentioned thumbs down, 3 people gave a thumbs down, but now it's 1. How can it be reversed? Can you reverse that? I don't know that you can. Mark Donny McLeod says, I'm quite fussy with channels, but it's what seems interesting, but this show feels like being in a social club. Oh, good. That's exactly how it should be. I feel that we're all friends, and you just need some. I'm the bingo caller who's going 88, 2 fat ladies, 63, whatever 63 is. 63, man having a pee. It might not be that. And what was I was going to go on to say something. Oh yeah, Mark, I got your bread recipe. Now, Mark Donny McLeod, he is a baker. He's a very lovely chap. And we're going to do this thing where I'm going to bake some bread. So I've got the recipe now. Thank you so much for that. It looks very simple. And I love this idea of getting it all together, massaging it all up. Once my back is nearly better, actually. It feels much better tonight. So that I can massage this, get the body weight into there and knead it, that's the word, knead it all up, and then shove it by the window so it will prove, and then get the Essie fired up, literally fired up, fill it up with flames, get it to the right temperature, shove it in for the 45 minutes or whatever it is, and then and do that at the beginning of a show. So we bung it in live. Is it possible? Can anyone tell me? Is it possible to buy a 20-foot length of USB to USB? The reason I say that is it would be so good to be able to take the webcam on a longer extension, because it's not long enough to take it into the kitchen so that you can see me in the kitchen, put it in the oven, and bring it out at 45 minutes later, live on the show. So if it had been today, for example, we could have done that at the beginning of the show. Say, here's the dough. It's been proven. Blah blah blah. We shove it in the Essie. Then you follow me in. I'll get Billy or someone to hold the camera because he lives here, so he can hold the camera. And then we bung it in, or I set the camera in I just set it up, can't I? And then we come back into the studio here, do the show, and then 45 minutes later at the appropriate moment. Be interesting if anybody knows if you can get very long lengths of USB cable, because that's what I would need. Robert Baxter says, I feel bad, but I tend to only give a thumbs up on videos I need to go back for reference. Oh, yes, I have heard that. That's true. Like the one to show you how to change a lawnmower blade or how to fix something otherwise. Yes, I suppose what it needs is a favourites thing as well. Or, thumbs up is like, yeah, thumbs up, mate, really enjoyed it. But then another button that says a bit like a bookmark that you get on a browser. That would be good, wouldn't it? Maybe somebody could tell YouTube that's what they should do. Edler said, yes, you can reverse the thumbs down. Just click on it again, then remember to press like. That's the button that looks like the hitchhiker's hand. Because sometimes when I'm going through the comments and I accidentally, instead of putting a heart, I tend to put a heart on the comments so that people feel special, because they are special if they've watched my videos. And sometimes I miss, and it goes to a thumbs down. And there they've said the most loveliest thing. Oh, Richard, you're such a lovely man. You're so beautiful. You've got a handsome face with a lantern jaw, and your hair is immaculate. You are my heroes, James Bond in baldness. And they say this marvellous stuff. And I go, I'll give you a heart. And then I click on the thumbs down. I go, oh. Quickly change, and I hope that does change so that they don't get Richard Vobes gave you a thumbs down. He hates you. He hates your guts. You're a miserable person in Richard Vobes' opinion. Oh no, he's changed his opinion. He's starting to feel very guilty. Chaz says he's probably got a cable you could use. Oh, Julia, that sounds absolutely brilliant. I mean, it doesn't have to be terribly long, but about 20 foot would be perfect, just to get into the kitchen. I'll have to come and pick it up on my bike. Oh, I can't go on my bike at the moment. Actually, here's the thing. I need to drive the car at least down to you and back. If you left it on the drive, I could pick it up, as long as the police don't stop me, because my car has been stationary for a long time. I started it up today so that the council came by and were removing all the fly tipping that people had been doing, and I saw them bringing their van up, and I said, here, do you want me to move my car? I didn't know if it was going to start, so I started it, and it did start, and I moved it whilst they brought their van in and moved it back, and I thought, I do need to drive the car somewhere just to get the battery going, and because a car is rubbish if you leave it stationary. So I advise anybody to get in their car and drive it round the block, or at least something. So yeah, Julia would ping me about that, because it would be great to do that this week, and do the bread thing as soon as possible. Sally Trains, maybe do it over Easter. That would be great fun. Sally Trainspotter says the bell and bell ring. You can phone camera and import some footage in, apparently. Ed Loud says the fibs. He just wants to be socially distant from his live stream, and he'll use us all on an extra zoom lens. Yes, absolutely. I thought I could do the show from out there whilst I'm eating my dinner instead of sitting in here. That's actually what's going on. Linda Kane says there's a save button. I'm saying there should be a save button. Jeff Kellison, sure, Vobie, you can get 20 foot on Amazon. Can you? Oh, right. Well, I may have a solution. Chaz reckons he's got one, but I may have to go and buy one. Andy Friesen says you can get them on Amazon. So I may have to borrow Chaz's in the meantime whilst I order one from Amazon. That would be perfect. Beachwriter8 says, yes, hello. Hope you're healing and aching lessons aching lessons, not aching lessons. How to ache. This is how you do it on camera. Number 1, screech really loudly. Oh! Wolf style. Oh! That's not what he meant. Aching as in all lessons, as in reduces. I think lessons has got an E in it, hasn't it? When you mean it's less of them. That's not me being pedantic. It's just I read it funnily then. Anyway, this show is very enjoyable, hearing from many people. Hello from Florida. Staying home gal. Staying home gal. Well, Beach Writer, thank you so much for coming in. I've seen your comments on the YouTube channel. It's so lovely to get them. Thank you. You've been an absolute star. And thank you for joining us live. Ed Loud says there is a save button on YouTube. Oh, there is. My goodness. Didn't know that. Right, let's go to our last video of tonight then, ladies and gentlemen. Barry Stevens has been to a lovely watermill and is going around the area close to where he lives with his son Faden. Lovely video. And the watermill, as he so rightly says in it, is when we had lunch. We had a lovely lunch. I'll tell you a little story. Barry said, Richard, I'll take you out for lunch, he says, when we filmed Odium Castle. And I went up, never met this chap before, lovely bloke. Told me all about what he does and his treasure hunting with his metal detector and his love of history. Took me down the canal. We had a lovely day. And he said, I'll buy you lunch, Richard. I said, oh, that's very kind of you. Don't have to. He said, no, I insist. So we went to this place, which you'll see in a minute, had this terrific lunch. Only as he ordered it, he came back and he says, oh, I'm a bit embarrassed. I didn't bring my wallet. And I said, oh, don't worry then. I'll buy it. Whereupon I bought him lunch. And actually, I don't regret that at all. He's probably sitting there going, oh, no, Richard, don't tell him about the lunch. Don't tell him about the lunch. It's absolutely great fun. No, it was lovely. It was fantastic to meet Barry. I didn't get to meet young Faden another time, maybe. But let's find out where it is and have a look at this delightful mill and the day out they've had today. Barry Stevens and Faden.
Hello everyone, Barry and Faden here. Just thought I'd do a little video of our walk. What you're looking at now is the Mill House. It's a restaurant and pub. Me and Richard have actually eaten in here. It's a lovely little place. It's got the River Whitewater that runs through. Nice willow tree there. And there's Faden.
Hello everybody.
Get back to you later. Just thought I'd show you these Highland cows. Let me see. Don't see many of them.
You get loads of them in Scotland.
You do, up in the Highlands. We've seen them in the Highlands, haven't we?
Yeah.
Got a lovely red ginger coat.
That might be why they're called Highland cows.
It is. Okay, say bye-bye to the Highland cow. Okay, this is North Warnborough ford, close to where I live.
In the summertime, there's quite a lot of like fishing here and everything when it's like warm.
There are lots of fishing here in the summertime. Lots of trout. You get rainbow trout and brown trout. This particular ford, when I was a bit younger, I told my dad it would be fine to drive through it. He ended up getting stuck and the car stalled. Anyway, little story there for you, and I'll get back. Go on.
And I also like I forgot what I was going to say now.
Okay, I'll get back to you soon. He's forgot what he's going to say. Right, we've arrived at our destination, which is St John's Castle in North Warnborough, on the outskirts of Odium. Faden just wants to tell you something. He's remembered what he forgot.
Yeah, so on that bridge bit, we're going to do like fishing together.
We will do, yeah, when we're all allowed out properly. Anyway, we'll get back to you when we reach the castle. Bye-bye. Hello again, here we are at the castle. It was King John's castle. He actually left this castle to sign the Magna Carta in Runnymede all that time ago. Just quickly get a nice shot of inside the castle. Used to be a proper ruin with just stones and dirt on the floor, but they've recently done it up for the Magna Carta celebrations.
Yeah, it also says Magna Carta there.
It does, a little like floor plaque.
Yeah.
Richard will recognise this castle from when we did a video here. Anyway, get back to you later. Hello there again. I thought I'd finish the video here on the Basingstoke Canal. It's a swing bridge.
Not a swing bridge, a drawbridge.
A drawbridge. I just got corrected. And just to say, we didn't walk down the canal path because the canal paths are quite narrow. I don't think would be very sensible. Anyway, bye-bye for now.
There we go. How marvellous is that? Lovely. Lovely setting. Lots of lovely places. Sorry, Barry, bringing up that story about the food. It was funny. And I must say, you've got a very lovely young boy there with Faden. He is absolutely wonderful. And I couldn't help noticing that his hair colour is the same as the Highland cow, whatever you said the cow was, can't remember now. Because when it goes out here, I don't get to hear it. So I'm remembering when I played it before the show. So I should try and remember the things that went on in there. But lovely. Yeah, no, nice to see the castle again. And we did have a good day that day. And we're going to come back. I'm coming back when this is all over. Coming back because I actually, I know we said, oh, you owe me a meal. I would like to try your homemade soup. That's what I want to try that you showed us from the other day because Barry is a chef. So I want to, learn how to make the soup. And you gave us that hint about sticking mustard in. I think it was mustard, wasn't it, that you stuck in. I thought that was really good. Fantastic. Jeff Kellison says, wow, I'd love to lunch there. Jeff, if you come over to the UK, we'll take you out to some very interesting places that will blow your mind. So there we are. And lots of well done, lovely video. Barry and Faden, Cynthia's camera says, Kevin's rambles, very nice. Ed Loud, my goodness, great castle. Leslie Couch. Yes, we've made a video if you want to check it out. I can't remember what I called it, probably something, the Odeon Castle, Odium Castle, if I remember rightly, something like that. Highland cows, there we are. Yeah, they're lovely, aren't they? Was that a baby one or is that the full size one? But delightful. Anyway, that's my phone whistling at me, telling me I need to put credit on it, but I don't need to put any credit on it because I don't make any phone calls from it, to be fair. It's just there to receive your lovely calls. I think that's more or less it for tonight. We'll leave it there. Come back again tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. People are disappearing. Mark Donny McLeod's already gone because he's been up since 5 a.m. We're going to get that bread mix sorted out and we'll make that on the show. Try and get the cables sorted out. Don't forget to start up your cars. Thanks for coming along. Tomorrow on the Bald Explorer website, I have managed to go back into the graveyard that I was trying to get to today, which was the lamest video I've ever made, where I just seized up and couldn't go any further. But I have actually managed to get there, and I put together a little video in search of Richard Jefferies' grave, and also Mary Hughes, who is the legend of the inspiration for Mary Had a Little Lamb. Its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere the little lamb went, she went to watch the Vobes. Oh, no, that doesn't scan. But anyway, you know what I mean. So that's all in the Broadwater and Worthing Cemetery. And a very peaceful place to go. A couple of people in there, but very lovely. And my now problem is I've got to think, where am I going to go to make a video for Friday's show morning? Oh, without being able to go anywhere. But hopefully I'll be able to walk a bit further. I've got some lovely heritage trails to follow, so maybe some of that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. You've all been great. Lovely. Thank you for the calls and thank you for the videos. Don't forget, if you want to send a video in, do send them to me. Film them in wide, in landscape. That's the best way to do it. The information's in the description. You send them to my email address via a service called wetransfer.com, but it's all in there. And we'll do it all again tomorrow. Fantastic. Look after yourself. Stay safe. Wash your hands. And keep your social distancing. Get out if you can. And enjoy yourselves. It will end. And all this will be over then. No fear. Anyway, that's it from me. Thank you so much. Take care, one and all. And check out Float Your Boat archive. Lots of videos there. And, of course, all these contributors often make their own videos, so check out them too. But from me, for now, thank you for watching and goodbye. 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 It presses the button. Nothing happens. Try it one more time. Wrong button. I did it. I was so smooth then. I was so smooth. Everything was so good. Damn it. Goodbye. Bye.